Okay, so in this video, we're going to see the path Japan took to World War II. And remember, Japan felt like it needed to expand because it needed natural resources to feed its growing industry. And it was already at war with China. It had invaded Manchuria back in 1931. They are now expanding out of Manchuria. The United States and Europeans, by and large, condemn this act. But they want to create this new Asian order with itself in the lead. Right? That's what it envisions. That it'll drive out the Europeans out of Southeast Asia, and Japan will dominate Southeast Asia. Now, the original plan that they came up with was to gain control of Russian Siberia with its natural resources with the help of Nazi Germany. But that doesn't work anymore once Hitler unveils the Nazi Soviet non aggression pact. The Japanese did not see that coming. Hitler kind of surprised everybody. So now their original plan of tag teaming with Nazi Germany against the Soviet Union isn't going to work. So they come up with a new plan. The new plan is to expand into the Southeast Asia, into the islands of Southeast Asia, places like Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines. Now, there is a potential danger with this plan, angering the Europeans and particularly the Americans. But eventually the Europeans get so busy with dealing with Hitler, right? That opens up a window of opportunity for the Japanese, and so they just have to worry about the Americans. And the Japanese government misjudge American attitudes. They knew America did not want war and wanted to stay isolated. So they thought, or at least hoped, that if they expanded in Southeast Asia, America would just kind of let it slide. And so they misread the situation. America did want to stay out of war until you threaten their territory, and then that was different. So as Japan begins to become super aggressive in Southeast Asia, America places sanctions on Japan. It's like economic punishment, economic restrictions. So we refuse to sell them oil anymore. We refuse to sell them scrap metal. We refuse to sell them steel. And Japan really relied on that. There's no naturally occurring oil fields in Japan. So Japan decided that war with America is inevitable, and so they needed to get it over sooner rather than later. They need to defeat America as quickly as possible. So the Japanese military develops the plan of a surprise attack, trying to destroy most of America's Pacific Fleet in one big blow. At least that was the idea. That was the hope. That's why Japan bombed Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor is in Hawaii, and that's where the American Pacific Fleet was based. And so Japan launches a surprise attack on December 7th, 1941, hoping to destroy the majority of it and kind of put America in a position to negotiate. But what happens is a good part of the fleet wasn't in harbor that day, and it did do damage, but not as much damage as the Japanese hoped. And that just led on December 8th to America to declare war on Japan. And then since Japan and Germany are allies, right, they end up fighting against Germany as well. So eventually this will come to backfire on Japan. They misjudged American sentiment. We did not want war, but once we were attacked, we jumped into war and we threw the full might of America behind it. We were called the Arsenal of Democracy in World War II. We began making not just stuff for us, but stuff for our allies as well, like Britain, even helping out the Soviet Union once Hitler eventually attacks that as well.